When last we left off, the party had defeated Lucius, the leader of the undead armies outside the gates of the Empire of the Sun, and through divine intervention managed to teleport themselves into Lucius's lair, destroy his phylactery, and then Faewyn created a portal to bring everybody back to the Empire of the Sun, and that's where we left off last time. They collected some magic trinkets from Lucius's lair before returning, and I posted about those a while ago, so I think those have been divvied up. What would you guys like to do?
First is check on the status of the remaining undead.
As you head through the city streets towards the wall to check on the undead, you do hear the chatter of the people who are defending the walls. And there appears to be mixed emotions amongst the people. As you actually get up onto the walls, you can see that the undead are still out there. The grounds outside the city gates are littered with corpses, both zombie and undead, as well as defenders from the town who went out to face them. But the undead no longer appear to be an organized army in the distance. They're not like standing guard, holding positions. They're kind of wandering around aimlessly. Some of them have been picked off from the walls as they get too close. But the defenders are saying that they're pretty much out of arrows at this point. But the undead are unable to make a concentrated effort to scale the walls or anything. So they're just kind of hoping that zombies will continue to wander off on their own.
Do we see any signs of like pockets of resistance where maybe like intelligent undead are still holding out, anything like that?
You don't see anything like that. Apparently, if Lucius had intelligent commanders, they are not hanging around to try to pick up the pieces, which would make sense because he was by far the most powerful undead there, and for anybody else to try to take over the army and succeed where he failed would be probably folly.
Guys, I think we did it.
What about Glithor?
Well, we destroyed one of the tomes necessary to bring him back, and we defeated Lucius. I don't know that there's anybody else who's really capable of bringing him back.
Ryan, just for a refresher, the tome basically said, let him out of the holy water coffin, right?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no problem. As a refresher, he was entombed in the Daystar Cave far to the north, which Group 1 opened up and took the Daystar from. And when they later returned, discovered that there was a secret passage that had been opened by the orcs, and Glithor's bones were no longer in the holy water where they had been trapped for millennia.
Okay, then scratch what I just said. I guess
and he's busy possessing or working with, however it works, the leader of that orc band that took over Nordgard. He packs a wallop.
I mean, I have been hoping to try to reconnect with some of my people. So maybe this is one of the first steps, is trying to work with them to find his remains and make sure they're properly destroyed.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Ryan, but Ysmyr's going to add, he's being warned by the leader of the Flesh Takers.
That is correct.
Yeah. So I mean, still, maybe there's some way to talk to them. I can hopefully connect with the orc tribe that used to live near Corthune, and maybe through them we can make some kind of connection. Otherwise, I guess we got to go take them because we can't have them just out there.
I know Tempus's tribe is coming on a ship. I don't know when it's going to get here.
They'd be a good place to start. Maybe there's somebody left at the docks, somebody who has some access to schedule, and they can tell us when the ship's suspected to arrive.
I don't know if they know it's coming. It came from Nordgard. Unless they somehow got news ahead.
Yeah. The last you guys heard, there was a ship that I believe Group 1 took around the zombie horde to get the stash of potions that cured the zombie rot, and came back, and that ship left very quickly to go try to find the prince and his forces.
Maybe we could send some ships out to try to meet with them. Now that there's hopefully no undead dragons to worry about, the ships can more safely set out.
Well, there may still be undead dragons, just not controlled ones. Although it seems like the majority of his forces were focused here.
Well, let's see if we can get an update from the king, maybe on what's going on and where things are, and from there we'll have some better idea of where to move forward. But right now, unless we're heading out to fight off some undead, I think we need a little bit more information before we can figure out what our next steps are.
Makes sense to me.
Okay. So you guys head to the king's manor. When you arrive, the major domo meets you at the front door and bows to you.
He didn't bow to us the first time, did he?
No.
Give him a nod back and just be like, "Is the king open for visitors?"
Give me an insight check.
Oh, hold on. It might. Oh, there it goes.
Yeah, I saw it rolled twice.
Yeah.
We'll take the first one. If anybody else wants to give insight checks, you can.
Sure.
At the mention of the king, Yaereene and Katiara, you notice that the major domo's lip trembles slightly before he answers. I'm afraid the king will not be seeing anybody.
Well, why? What's happened since we left?
The king fell outside the wall.
What?
Outside the? Why was he outside the wall?
He had the Daystar from the throne. He was leading his people. And shoot.
Who's taken charge for now then?
Her Royal Highness Queen Damelin is currently seating herself upon the throne as we discuss the future of the kingdom.
May we see her?
I believe you have that right. She is currently entertaining Lady Bright and children of Lord Mythos. But yes, please come with me, and I will take you to her immediately.
We follow.
Oh, apparently I forgot some tokens here. I will make sure to add them. I think that's everybody now. If you don't have a token, let me know.
I'll run Evad again.
Can we assume that the people who aren't with us, player-wise, are physically following along?
Sure thing, yeah.
Character-wise?
Yeah, that's no problem. You don't have to move multiple tokens around.
Thanks.
Is the Daystar back in the throne room?
Yes.
I'm fine.
Yeah, when the major domo announces that you're there, the queen removes the Daystar and puts it away so that the light will not harm you. So after announcing that you're there, the major domo leaves the room and leaves you to a very solemn-looking queen.
Your Majesty, we're very sorry for your loss and the many losses of your kingdom. We are here to announce to you that we have defeated the Lich who controlled the army. He is fully destroyed, and the undead that now remain are no longer bound by any one will.
Then my husband did not die in vain. I appreciate all of the difficult works that you have done for our kingdom, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart.
We did what we could to help everyone. This effort was for all of our sakes. So we thank you, but someone would have had to do this. Your Majesty, do you have any new news?
I have spoken with my daughter, and she informed me that there is another threat to the north that you spoke of, yet another lich.
Uh, yes, this would be essentially the one that led the others, or did ages ago and was able to come back in some form. He had teamed up with one of the orc tribes in the north to rout the city of Nordgard, and while those who escaped the city are running ahead, he is following behind.
So, if he follows, it is possible that those people of Nordgard will be overrun and added to his undead army, which will again descend on our city. Is that a fair assessment?
I would say so. A while back, it was quite a while back, I did scrying, and they were even picking up the dead of Nordgard to join their army.
Can you scry them now and see how they fare?
Yes, I have enough in me for one more today.
Well, then I would suggest you decide who would be the best to look in upon. I am only familiar with one person in the north.
That would be your son, correct?
My brother.
Brother. Pardon me. Sorry, I can't remember the name. Bartimus? Bartemius?
Oh, no, that would be another person in the north. That is her son, yes. I was
Okay.
thinking more Horace Dameline.
Ah. Oh, Dameline. Shoot. Okay.
But if her son's there too.
Well, no, the son is the prince. Like,
Right.
Yeah. And she's not sure where he is. That's why she said she only
Okay.
knows one person in the north.
So, okay. Well, your husband had gotten quite a bit of the story, but I am assuming you were not filled in before any of this happened. But I am sorry to say that Horace had not made it. He faced off against Glithor and the leader of the orc tribe, and they were not something he could overcome. Another.
At that news, you see her jaw tighten, and she mutters something under her breath. If anybody wants to make a perception check, see if you hear it, you
Yes,
can.
please.
Yes, please.
Do I need to roll that?
What's your passive?
26.
No. So Grun, Yaereene, and Lignyck, you all overhear her mutter, "Oh, brave, foolish brother, always thinking of the good of the kingdom above yourself, throwing your life away. You will be missed."
Yes. Your brother and many others did their best. I know there's also a ship coming that will have members of the city. I can't remember Tempus's tribe. Jagged Tusk?
Yeah.
Jagged Tusk. It will have members of the Jagged Tusk orc tribe, and a Prince Bartimus who was had made it to Nordgard for aid, and so I know the tribe had joined him. And then there's us. And she's gonna look at you guys like, I am right? Like you're all for this?
And Grun's like, "Oh, we're in this. We're finishing this."
Mm-hmm. Like, from Faewyn's perspective, if we don't finish this now, we're just going to be doing the same thing shortly again, and this is not how she likes to mess with time.
Well, if you will help us one last time, I would see you heroes head north. If you can, in time to help those who flee this Glithor and turn the tide against him forevermore.
Faewyn pipes up. So do you know if there's a gate there? Because we could just go there tomorrow if somebody knew the glyphs for it.
No, nobody knows of any gates in Nordgard. But currently the city is also completely overrun with undead. So that might be a bad place to teleport into without knowing what's around.
Faewyn is smart. She is not wise.
Fair?
Focused problem, not seeing the bigger picture.
We'll have to think up a plan.
What's the furthest north point that we do have teleportation to?
That is on my computer downstairs.
I believe this is as north as Faewyn has ever been.
Okay, right here.
Okay. Is there any way we could? What was the dwarf who had that flying ship? Is there any way we could get word to him?
The gnome, you mean?
Oh, sorry. Yes, no. Sorry. Yeah. Because it came from the Dwarven city. Yeah, that gnome who had that flying ship. Is there any way that we would be able to get word to him to come to us?
And didn't we discover that 3 liches were running that gnome town that we were in?
Okay, that's complicated. There were 2 gnome towns that you went to.
And I do apologize. All of my notes are on the computer I just gave to my nephew. I have them, but they're not on my new computer yet.
Yeah. So there was Valville that was right near the entrance with the false town outside of it that you guys first went to. And then there was the capital of the Gnome Kingdom, Glimmerview. And so those the liches that run everything are in Glimmerview. The portal that you know of in the Gnomish territories is in Valville. But the pilot with the airship is also in Glimmerview.
I mean, if nothing else, Your Majesty, are there any horses and carriages left? If nothing else, we can move by land as fast as we can.
Many of our horses have been culled, as we are short on food throughout the city. But I can see what we have left. There will certainly be carriages aplenty. I can put out word to the city to see if we can get enough horses for your company.
If you could put the word out, we can still see if we can find faster travel, but if nothing else, the faster we are on the road and moving further north, it's less time wasted.
I agree. The trip to the north is long and arduous. I fear if you try to make the travel by foot, the survivors from Nordgard will be long dead before you find them.
Indeed, we'll have to continue thinking of other means to get there faster. If only we had our airship.
Yeah, that sure be handy.
Well, it wasn't big enough for all of you anyway. Like, as it was crammed with Group 2 just in there.
We'd have figured a workaround for the extras. All right. I guess if nothing else, then we should, some of us should maybe see if we can get in touch with anybody. Faewyn, if you can do your scrying to the north and give us an update, then maybe we have a little bit more information. And maybe we can see if we can get word out to those who remain, if anyone knows of any teleportation circles or any fast means of travel to the north. It's worth a shot.
I think it is Ysmyr that needs to do the scrying.
It's getting the right target. Last time, when I scried directly on Glithor, well, not Glithor, but the leader of the Flesh Takers, he was able to strike me through the scry. It was not pleasant. So,
is there any shielding that could help with that? Like and this is Yaereene, if I cast non-detection on you ahead of time, do you think that would help?
I don't know. It's that, or I have to look for someone close to him, just not him.
Well, I'd be willing to cast it on you if you'd like.
It can't hurt.
And I would say cast it on someone closer to him is probably safer if he's been scryed on once. Maybe he's taken measure against it.
The only person I can think of who could be close is Yaereene, the necromancer.
Yeah, you have been in contact with Yaereene through sending spells too.
So, she doesn't have sending.
I think Rhodes does.
And he was the one sending her before.
Yeah, he was doing the sendings up north to Yaereene, I believe.
Okay, if Rhodes has the spells, could he do a sending to Yaereene to see if he's near enough to Glithor that Ysmyr could do a safe scry?
Sure. Yaereene would say within 25 words. I may say more than 25 words, but he would find a clever way to say it within the limit. That he is currently on the march, leaving Nordgard to follow the survivors, and is beside Cool.
So they're on. Sorry. So they're following the survivors, and they're by a place called Cool.
Well, Tempus would know that the leader of this orc tribe is called Cool Murtak.
Ah, okay. That's exactly who I need to see then.
While you're looking, can you see if you also note potentially any landmarks to give us a rough idea where they are?
I can try.
So, Yaereene will cast non-detection on you.
And what does that do?
You hide a target I touch from divination magic. You can't be targeted by any divination magic or perceived through magical scrying sensors.
Cool. Well, we'll see what it does, I guess. And Ysmyr is going to, I think, find somewhere comfortable, I guess, in the room, since might as well, maybe even a little private, like a corner, make sure no one can look back or see if they go back, if they look back through her scry.
Okay.
Grun will stay close enough to keep an eye out, so he's able to come and do any healing or anything if something. No, hearing that you were attacked from the last one, he'll stay back and stay kind of hidden, but he wants to stay close. So if he hears something happen,
Okay.
So if you're doing this in this room, could you place yourself where you would do the scrying?
Should we do it somewhere not anywhere near the last remaining survivor of this reign?
That's fair. Okay. I guess, yeah, Ysmyr will look to the queen. Do you have somewhere private I can do this, just so that if something happens, no one can see anything we don't want them to either?
Perhaps the courtyard? I don't think there's any identifying information out there other than a couple of statues, but we have many such statues across the kingdom. It shouldn't give them any ideas of where you are.
Guess that's something. Well, if it's all right then, I guess some of us will go to the courtyard while I do this.
I'll wait outside the courtyard, but Grun will just tell you if I hear anything weird, I'm gonna come in. But otherwise, I'll stay out here. Holler if you need something.
Yaereene and Faewyn will both go for entirely different reasons.
Okay.
Okay.
Yaereene will ask if you want her in there with you.
I don't think it would hurt.
Where should I be?
Wherever you want to be. Yeah, because Ysmyr's just going to sit and get ready.
Yaerene's going to be around the corner, so she's not easily seen, but right nearby to help out.
So another question. Will you be scrying with the orb that you purchased or the one that you got from Lucius?
Good question. Let's do the Lucius orb.
All right. You have had a chance to identify that, so you know the properties of it.
Can you remind me of them? That might change what I decide.
Yeah, 1 second here.
It's been a while.
Of course, it doesn't have that. I don't remember where that information is now. Give me a second.
Pretty sure my nephew might have it.
It was the crystal ball of mind reading. While touching it, you can cast the scrying spell with it. It requires attunement to use that ability. And you can use an action to cast the Detect Thoughts spell while you are scrying with the crystal ball, targeting creatures you can see within 30 feet of the spell's sensor. You don't need to concentrate on this Detect Thoughts to maintain it during its duration, but it ends if scrying ends.
Okay, I don't think I would have had time to attune to it, so it'll have to be the spell.
Okay, so you're scrying on Yaereene?
On Yaereene.
Okay. And what kind of distances can you see through the scrying spell?
The sensor moves with the target, remaining within 10 feet for its duration. It doesn't say.
Okay. I will assume that you have your normal vision then through it. So you scry on Yaereene, and you can see him surrounded by an army of undead and orcs. In the distance to the north, you can see the familiar gates of Nordgard, and the undead army is plowing through the snow, headed south.
Okay. And he said he was by Cool?
Yeah, so you can give me a perception check. I'll give you more information depending on that roll. All right, so you do see a very large orc, not far from where Yaereene is. Yaereene is walking just slightly behind him, but he's enormous compared to the other orcs, and you do see that he is wearing the bones of Glithor. Beside him, you also see a ghostly figure. You would have seen this ghost before, as it was in charge of. Well, it came into that temple that you were in through the walls, read the scrolls that you left open, and then left. It's the same ghostly figure, and the rest of what you see is mostly just zombies and skeletons of various types marching along.
Okay, so he's going. So they're basically in the middle of an army of many, many undead, and definitely heading south like we thought. But they are not as far south as we thought because it's quite a distance. Like they've just left the city if they can see the gates.
Yeah, which makes sense for the timeline for how far back in time you went. That they would just be leaving now, and that the human forces that left Nordgard are only a few days in front.
Okay. Yeah, unless there's something that catches our eye, now we have kind of a time, kind of a place where they are, and we know where they're going. So Ysmyr will pull out of the scry, and she's ready to let the others know all that.
Okay.
Well, that seemed to have gone a lot better than last time.
Last time I made the accidental mistake of looking right at Cool Muntak, and of course, since he's literally wearing Glithor knew it.
That's awkward.
Yeah, it was interesting and painful. But I think we can go let everyone know what we see, and since they just left Nordgard and it takes a few weeks, maybe a month or so to get here.
Months, yeah,
Months?
it's like five
Months?
or 6 months.
And since it takes months, even for undead, I think we have time to do some planning.
Well, that's great help.
I will point out, though, that the undead don't have to stop to rest, so it will take them
But
less.
they're traveling with orcs.
True. Maybe that will change.
Like, we can still assume they're coming fast, maybe a little faster than normal, but they do have living with them unless Glithor is going to tear through all the orcs and make them undead too, which I wouldn't put past him, but there's things to consider. Anyway, let's go let the queen know.
Okay.
Yeah.
She'll thank you for the information, but still knowing that the undead and orc army are coming and will likely begin to engage the fleeing remnants of Nordgard heading south, she would urge you to try to get there with all haste.
So, this is a time to build up, prepare, and look for maybe more allies and be ready to meet them.
What allies would you suggest? Everyone that we know of is here.
She'll look to the group that came from the south. You guys know anyone? I know there's the ship.
I
Lignyck
mean,
looks.
there were some druids, but I think that any of them that are left, there's no real way to communicate with them.
I could try to communicate with Seraphina again. She didn't respond last time, though.
And you guys have mentioned that the south has been attacked. No refugees coming up. Hey?
Sorry, what was the question?
Like I as the player know that the south was under attack. There were refugees and stuff. There were cities getting attacked. No one from the south was coming, like the people from Nordgard were coming, right?
I don't think so.
Okay, so we're not going to meet up with the people from Nordgard before we only have days before the undead get here. So we can't wait for them to come. We possibly don't have refugees coming from the south, so does that just leave what we have in the city? Does that just leave us? What are people's thoughts here?
I'm not sure.
I was like, Grun's trying to rack his brain, trying to think if there's anybody left. I mean, the fact that a large amount of the undead are now seemingly kind of wander. Grun's gonna ask Faewyn, after you cast that teleportation, was it an hour that we have to wait before you can cast it again?
Are you talking the arcane gate?
No, the magic circle, the
Teleportation circle.
teleportation circle. Thank you, sir. Yeah, the teleportation circle one.
No,
Because
it takes me a minute to cast.
a minute. Well, now that they're kind of less alert, maybe we can hop back to the various places we have them and at least check up on the status and perhaps now that this has happened, there's a better odds that there may be some people that we could get in contact with, some other small forces who could help us out.
I can cast it twice per day. More if we would like to use my higher level spell slots.
I mean, I think if for today we have no purposes for your higher level spell slots, it might be.
Today, my higher level spell slots are not available. I used them
Right.
in.
So yeah. So tomorrow, when you can do it again, then maybe we can use them. Check a couple extra spots. Would you be able to do that today twice?
No, I can do it today once.
Okay. Well, we definitely want to be able to get back today. So for tomorrow, if we wait for tomorrow, can you do like 2 round trips then?
Yes, potentially. And I also, I have ingredients to cast the spell 10 times total. I asked the queen if there's anybody who would be able to get me the components for the spell for additional times.
Yep, she will provide you with any components that you need in whatever quantities you need, even if they have to take them from the stores of other wizards in the city.
Thank you. I'm sorry to ask, but I think it could be very helpful right now. So that helps me have more casts tomorrow. Grun.
Okay, perfect. I'm just thinking that the more places we can check on, then the better. So some of us can go with Faewyn to ensure that she's protected for those minutes that she has to cast and to help for scouting.
Now, Ryan, I think I had Glimmer. I can't remember its name.
Glimmerview?
Glimmerview. I had the King's Basement. I had the Wizard Tower where I got tested and was creating the spell to go back to start with V.
Velshani.
And one more.
Thorbald's Deep. There
Thank you so
was a
much.
circle there. You did not have Glimmerview. You had what was that other place called?
Valville?
Yeah, Valville. There was the
Okay.
portal there where you were studying.
Yeah. Thank you. Sorry.
No problem.
I thought I also had the glimmer one. I thought they told me what that one was.
Was there one there? There probably is. Sure, you can have that one too.
Well, now
Okay.
if we do have Glimmer, then we're definitely not those no glitches if possible.
Be good to know which side of that conflict they wanted to be on.
The book that you guys read about them said that they were created by Glithor, or at least inspired by Glithor. I don't remember exactly. So you do get the sense that they are friendly to him.
And we are avoiding them for now.
Sir Ryan, can you refresh my memory on exactly what the Vecna's status is?
Of what? Sorry?
Vecna.
Vecna.
Or
Where-
not Vecna, Venya or whatever her name is. Vecna's a much different lich.
I was like,
Vecna.
Vecna, the Lich God?
Okay, yep,
Yeah.
that was what I wanted to know. Thank you. That was it.
Yeah. And then
I'm
there's
looking at that tome of the stilled tongue, trying to determine. And that answers that question.
Yep.
If it was just a lich that we had contact with that was maybe on our side, maybe they can watch me. But no, the lich god probably I don't want to watch me.
No, you really don't.
So I know you said we should avoid the 3 liches running the city, but if they are on his side, is it smart to avoid them? What if they provide support?
I mean, if Glithor is that far north, is it better to take out Glithor, who's an more active, more new threat, or these liches who, I mean, as far as we can tell, remained essentially dormant for this long? Maybe they're just staying out of it for now.
Fair point.
Yeah, I'm at a loss myself. All I've got is you guys and a sword.
Grun can't think of any other allies. And magically, I'm still kind of restricted there, so I can't really help out in much ways. But tomorrow, a little bit more. I pick and choose some different spells, and I roll well. Then that actually sets me up in a whole bunch of different ways. But I think for today, we've pretty much done all we can do right now.
I could cast divination today, but we would need to know what I should ask.
Maybe asking something of, I don't know, obviously this phrasing would have to be changed a bit, but are there allies remaining that we can reach in time to aid us in stopping Glithor? Something like that.
Okay. And Faewyn is not just going to ask a yes or no question. She's going to ask who are the allies who could aid us in fighting Glithor in time.
Okay. So that's your divination question?
I think so.
How best to word this?
Clearly.
Clearly. No. Who does clear answers?
Does not sound like Ryan.
Old adversaries may have had time to reconsider whether you would be allies now.
I will bring that up. I will share that with the group.
I mean, I think we left most of our enemies dead.
Adversaries, though, Tempus had one in Nordgard.
Yeah, there's some who have been leading the people in Nordgard South who didn't like us very much.
I bet we look a whole lot better than the undead people.
Anybody else, group 2, thinking of anybody that we left alive behind us?
Didn't we have a princess or somebody on the others that started with an S?
Oh, right, from Valshani.
From Valshani.
Yeah. We weren't sure if she'd survived, but they were trying to flee. So if you can figure out where they are, then they'd help. Depending tomorrow, depending on how I roll when I get up, if I do manage to get access to 3rd level spells, I can also attempt to scry, because Grun has met her, so I can attempt to scry her and see if she's still somewhere.
There were 2 princesses of the elves, Eulariel and Montharia.
So they're some of the only people that remained alive when we left.
But they weren't your adversaries.
That's true. We were all on the same side of running away from...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, Gorold. Good old Gorold.
Yes, because adversaries doesn't necessarily imply enemy either.
Nope.
I wonder. It also wasn't an adversary. I'm just wondering with that golem in the Dowreths, in when Lignyck changed bodies. That golem, I know wasn't really willing to come out, but yeah, I guess maybe not. Once again, not an adversary, but just could be useful.
And if it is Gerald, they'll be in between us and them. So we would meet them on the way.
Yeah, I don't see anything in my notes that I think Red would remember to think that would be helpful.
All right. Anything else right now?
Bedtime, I think. Well,
No,
depending
I'm
what time
kind
of
of
day.
at a. I'm at a loss for steps. So nope.
Me too.
Okay. So you guys, you said you're going to sleep for the night?
Yeah, we can get our spells back and at least have a few other options available to us in terms of.
Yaereene would like to dream before she goes to sleep.
Sure thing. Do you want me to tell you about the dream in chat or on the Discord private message?
Oh, I think we should do it in chat because,
Okay.
this is like a very exciting moment. We can't keep anything secret right now.
All right. What would you like to ask the Stormlord?
There are so many questions.
That's fair.
Well, first she's just going to dream to the Stormlord of Lucius so that the Stormlord is aware. And she wants to ask how can they best save the remaining people from Glithor and the undead invasion chasing them.
In your dream, you see a familiar gnomish figure standing before a circle of stone with runes carved into the circle, and the circle appears to be underground.
Is this the king's under the king's palace here?
It doesn't look familiar to Yaereene at all.
And she try and remember the symbols.
Give me an intelligence check.
So the answer is she can try.
Exactly. No, you don't remember the symbols. They're completely foreign to you.
Okay. But is she correct in her assumption, or does she feel like it is that if Faewyn could cast the spell she's seen her cast with those symbols, that would be good? Well, and was Faewyn the gnomish figure?
Yes, you do believe it was Faewyn. I'm just trying to remember if you. I'm looking up your chosen abilities here. I think you can ask a follow-up question in the dream, right?
I can.
And and it also says answers are less riddle-like. Well, that wasn't riddle-like at all. So, yeah, if there's a follow-up question you'd like to ask,
Can you help me remember these when I awake?
how badly do you want to remember?
Don't even know how to answer that question. If it is important, badly.
Then the one who needs to see them will know.
Thank you.
All right. So that's it for the long rest. Everybody wakes up as refreshed as you can be given the circumstances.
I'll make my rolls just in the chat.
Sure.
By the way, Faewyn sent a bunch of appreciation emotions during that too.
I'd like to
Sounds
use my
good.
inspiration to reroll that Constitution, right?
Sorry, what was that, Grun?
Sorry, I'm just going to use my inspiration to reroll that Constitution.
Sure thing. That is a success. That's enough successes to get your third level of cleric back.
I have second level spells again, guys.
Congrats!
All right,
Woohoo!
I'm gonna
You
keep
can
rolling.
keep going.
Constitution. Yeah, I was gonna say I keep rolling on that, but I mean that was the big one. Is like
The DC is now 14 for these, so that first one succeeds.
yes. 4, come on, 4. No. I got inspiration for that crit 20 though, right? Right.
No. So you have 2 out of 4 successes for your 4th cleric level.
All right, I'll pop that in our private.
Ryan,
Yes.
towards the beginning of the session, I thought that we were going to be having our sleep right then. I rolled a 2d20. Is it okay if I use those as my numbers?
For sure. Well, 1 and a 16. That's pretty sweet.
Yep.
All right. Anything else this morning?
I'm just going to look over my spells to figure out if I'd like potentially slightly different ones.
Okay.
I know Rhodes has scrying as well, so I feel like Ysmyr or Rhodes should scry on Gorold and see how the city people are doing, especially if he might be willing to be a hand.
Okay. Yeah, you're all familiar enough with Gorold that no problem scrying on him.
Cool. You know what? Let's assume it's Ysmyr. She can short rest to get a spell slot back. So
Okay, that sounds good. So, similar to what you saw when you scried on them in the future, you see a long wagon train meandering down the road to the south. Gorold and his crew have taken up rear guard positions, and you can see that their weapons are covered with black blood. Their armor is stained, and they're looking tired as they march along behind everybody else.
okay. She'll gather that knowledge, and I wish she had sending, but she doesn't.
Rhodes does.
Rhodes does. So, and I think Gorold knows Rhodes, has heard Rhodes.
Yes, Rhodes was with Tempus and the rest while in town, so Gorold
Okay.
and his gang is well aware of Rhodes.
Okay. I'm trying to think of what he would say. So sorry.
Yeah, no problem.
While you're thinking there, Yaereene is just going to check in with Faewyn and tell her about the dream and ask her if she's seen anything.
Okay, moment of truth. Faewyn, can you give me a perception check?
I will roll. I will feel like I could have done a better job of that.
I mean, you can't do a whole lot worse, so probably. As Yaereene is speaking to Faewyn about seeing something, Faewyn does catch something a little odd about Yaerene's how she looks. And looking a little closer, she's seeing arcane symbols around the irises of Yaerene's eyes.
Do those symbols make sense to her?
Yes. It's the right number and type to be the coordinates of a teleportation circle.
And so she tells Yaereene that, and she's like, do you know where this goes to? And Yaereene will be like, I have no idea, but it's good. Unless you think she has more information than that, Ryan.
Nope.
Okay, it's good. We'll go share with the rest of the group. Would the King's Library have any information on teleportation circle sigils that we could try and look up where this was from?
There are certainly books about teleportation circles, seeing how he has one in his basement. But if you spend the day poring over his tomes, you will find that this particular sequence does not appear in them.
Thank you. Well, she'll share it with the rest of the group and ask if that's where they want to go.
Sorry, where does it go?
Somewhere good, per the Stormlord, that could help save the remaining people.
Okay, so just for the purposes of the video later, Ysmyr asked Gorold, or sent a sending through Rhodes that says, "Stand strong, we're at Empire of the Sun. Finally stop the undead once and for all. Will you help us if you can?" And Gorold responded, "I'll stand with anyone who's willing to help us live. How do we help?"
I think the next message will be a quick standby. We just defeated another lich at the standby. We just defeated another lich in the south. So working out our next move, we'll let you know. I think that's 25.
Okay. In response, he'd say, I forgot the name of his band members. 1 second. Pat says she found markings that point towards a nearby mountain. Gonna send her and Nick to investigate.
Okay, I think that'll get relayed to the group.
Did they say what kind of markings?
Another sending. What kind of markings and
And
which
where exactly did you find them?
and which and where did they were pointing to a mountain, right?
That's what he said. Yeah.
Them. I want to ask which mountain, but if it's a mountain, just a general mountain. Did they look arcane? Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. We will see if our plan gets us close. That'll work. What kind of markings? Where did they see them? Did they look arcane? We will see if our plan gets us close. Assuming that we are like somewhere good, maybe gets us close. I don't know.
I'm hoping.
Now, answer all that in 25 words or less.
He responds something along the lines of, Helena doesn't recognize the language, and nobody else does. Nick and Pat are gone.
Okay. I think for now we'll leave it at that and get into the discussion of, are we just taking a chance or not? Maybe there's a connection here.
Yaerene's up for it.
We might not have many choices. Everyone else?
Faewyn's also for it.
Kitiera, Lignyck,
Yeah, I'm in.
Oh, yes.
Richter.
I think we lost him before the game even started.
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't even move his token into the King's Manor, so
You have no idea how hard I was laughing when he said, "Oh, I'm a night owl." I'm like, uh-huh.
Sure he is.
Okay, so we need to get prepared. Is there anything people need?
Do we need to refresh healing or anything? Or are we kind of stuck with what we got?
I still have an elixir of healing and a potion of greater healing, and now that I've got my second level spell slots, I do still have cure wounds and healing word. I kept lesser restoration, but I did take augury just in case we, like I said, in case we wanted to check on any potentially dangerous things before we actually do them.
Okay. I have a few different options, so I'm okay.
And I have a ring that has, where's my low double digits, second level healing cure wounds in it.
And Rhodes has healing, and he's got a few potions too. Like he has one potion of healing, but then he's got a few other possibly useful ones. So
Evad's got either cure wounds or healing word. I'll have to double check it.
Yaereene also has a little bit of healing.
I think healing wise, we're as good as we get. I think we kind of took everything there was, unless we're going to look to Her Majesty and say, is there any healing items in the stores that we could avail ourselves of?
I will certainly give you anything that we have.
We greatly appreciate it. Obviously, please make sure you have enough to help us with the wounded, but if there's anything to spare, we would take what we can give.
okay, then I don't think we have much else we need.
So they go through their stores, and there's 10 regular healing potions, or 2d4 plus 2. There's 1 greater healing potion, 4d4 plus 4. There's 3 superior healing potions, 8d4 plus 8, and 1 supreme healing potion, 10d4 plus 20.
You need to go a little bit slower than that, Ryan. 10 regular ones.
Yeah, 10 regular.
Well, that's 1 each.
1 of the next one.
Yeah, 1 greater.
Okay.
3 superior.
Okay.
And 1 supreme.
Ooh.
Okay.
So yeah, I think everyone should get a regular. I can't add it to Rhodes, but oh well.
And maybe some of the people who tend to be in the front and center of things take some of those bigger ones.
I was going to say, I'll take one of the superior because I've already got a greater.
Maybe Grun, Tempus, and Rhodes. Keep the cleric up.
Maybe we've got a supreme one too.
Fair.
I was thinking maybe Tempus for that, since he tends to stand in the middle of absolutely everything.
Yeah, and I have my own healing, so it feels like he's better off with that. And I think he should also have the greater, because I don't think he has one, so that way he has various levels of potions for various levels.
So Grun and Rhodes for the two of the three superior. Who should get the other superior?
Tempus. Or who else? Rhodes fights up front enough that maybe having two isn't a bad idea.
That makes sense to me.
Also, history has shown Rhodes goes down a fair bit.
Also makes sense to me.
Pop-up cleric. So he's taking one of the superiors?
Rhodes gets two of the superiors.
Oh, two. Okay. I can't add it to a sheet, so I'm just writing it down.
Yeah, and then the Supreme and the Greater go to Tempus. So yeah, I think that's all the healing potions divvied up, and I think that's pretty good spread.
Yeah. So that everyone's got what they want attuned, all that stuff. Ysmyr might sneak in a rest, so she has her spell slot back. But
Ryan, is it possible for Grun to reobtain his Blue Dragon scale mail? Like he will pay for it if that's what's necessary, but is it possible for him to obtain that again?
Yes.
He obtains that and will attune to that and unattune to the gloves of Ogre Strength.
Okay.
And Faewyn doesn't have time to copy any of those spells into her spellbook, correct? Because it needs day per level. So I'm assuming no. But she is going to carry that spellbook with me, and if desperate times call for desperate measures. Oh, she can't. Never mind. She's still going to carry it with her, though.
Sure, sounds good.
Comforting book things, you know.
Faewyn still has that book that had the dagger. If you open the book, it creates a darkness spell.
The book toy, yeah.
Awesome. Just thinking about it for an in case at the moment.
I believe she still has it.
I think she does too.
sorry, what's that?
The book toy.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't remember you guys ever getting rid of that.
Why would we? It's a toy and a book, all in one.
Would anybody else like an adamantine breastplate?
I already got one.
Alright, I'm just gonna throw it into the group 2 party gear for now. Now Grun is the Thunder God.
So is there anything else that you guys want to do during this day?
Yaereene will spend a bunch of time with Tempus.
Sounds good.
Yeah, if we're not gonna be like going anywhere doing anything, if Gordon doesn't need his spell slots today for anything else in particular, he is going to go around and try to heal the worst of the wounded. Just going around and doing that, and then helping out wherever he can with other like repairs to the city, trying to get some of the infrastructure back up and running.
And
Resting people.
And he's going to have company with that.
Sounds good. Yeah, the people are most gracious and thankful for any additional healing that you can provide. You have lots of people coming up to you with various degrees of injuries, looking for healing once you make yourself known. So it takes some of the pressure off the temple, which has been swamped, and their clerics run out of healing spells every day, but they're still swamped, honestly. But yeah, it's definitely helping alleviate the burden.
And then Grun's going to put that 25 strength to use, and anywhere he sees where like great strength is most needed, he's going to like try to pitch in there because he knows he can probably. He's one of the few people who can do stuff like that, so he's going to try to that as best as he can.
Yeah, the city's in good shape. Like the undead hadn't really breached it, although there is a section in the north where the undead dragons attempted to wrest control of the Doomstar. So there are certainly some damaged buildings there where your help could be useful. Just moving debris and stuff and getting ready to rebuild that area of town.
Yep. So he'll do that as whenever he like can't heal anymore, and once his either his magical healing's up, or if his healing of like healing kits that he was given or anything like that, if he runs out of those, that's what's going to do that stuff.
I think Ysmyr, since the king would have had context before things went nuts, she's going to give Queen Dameline context on things. Going to take if she'll let her.
Yeah, she had spoken with her husband before he passed. He discussed everything that was going on with her. Like they didn't hold secrets from each other or anything. So she knows pretty much everything that's going on.
Okay, just making sure she's in the loop, that kind of thing.
Yep, she appreciates that, and would appreciate it if you continue to keep her in the know as plans unfold.
Okay, sounds good.
And I'll say at the end of the night, Grun will hold a funeral ceremony for anybody any new dead that day. He'll hold open ceremonies for anybody who wants them. Anybody who wants to attend, he'll host those as well.
Okay. Yeah, a large portion of the city turns out for any funerary services that you provide, because everybody has lost somebody during the undead siege. So yeah, the rest of the day passes uneventfully. Faewyn has read up on the king's books about travel. There's not really a whole lot to add there, except that the city of Corthun was a close ally of the Empire of the Sun, and they had a travel circle that the king knew about. But you don't find anything about existing travel circles in more northern communities.
Did they have the runes for Corthun?
Yes. You also find travel runes for a halfling community in Oos.
Oh, well, that's interesting now. That's very interesting.
But yeah, other than that, the day passes, and you guys can get another long rest in to get your spells back.
Okay, and then we blip off to the middle of nowhere.
So before, do we want to augury or no? Because if not, then Grun will change his spell.
That seems like a good plan.
Yeah.
Okay, so before we go, because I have to do it within a half hour of what we're gonna do. So I will use augury. I'm gonna say Grun had these little dragon bones. He's gonna roll them, and I'll get an omen. Here, I'll just post it. Right, I could do that. So I want to inquire as to the outcome of us following this teleportation circle.
Okay. You get a wheel for good results.
All right. I mean, that's two sources with means beyond ours who feel that this is a solid plan. So I'm a little bit more comfortable with this.
It sounds good. Michael had to step away for 30 seconds, so he'll be right back.
Okay. Is there anything else anybody wants to do before you create this teleportation circle to the unknown?
I mean, 10,000 things, but do we have time for it?
Not really.
Okay, here goes nothing.
Yep. Let's do it, guys. See you on the other side.
The portal opens, and you all step through. On the other side, you find yourself in a completely new location that none of you have ever seen before. It, for those who were in Thorbald's Deep, the construction is similar in appearance. It's dark and very plain but solid stone construction all around you. The shelves in the room are all empty. Any tomes that had been on them long turned to dust. With any looking around, you will find that there are dwarven runes here and there throughout the area, and this one room expands into many. It's a vast underground city that appears to be completely empty of life. Scouting around, you don't see any signs of anybody calling this place home. Eventually, you would find some tracks in the dust that appear very fresh.
What did any of the runes say, Ryan?
The runes are mostly pointing you towards locations in the city, and signs over shops and stuff to say what kinds of goods they sold, those types of things.
Thank you.
Well, seeing that there were fresh footsteps, I think Grun and Tempus would probably have their weapons out.
How fresh is fresh from Yaerene's perspective?
Within the last 24 hours.
She will convey that. Can I track them?
You certainly can try. Yeah, 23 is piece of cake. You see that some of the tracks went. It looks like two people were in this area, humanoid, and they looks like they were methodically going through some of the more interesting shops, and they also took a trip to what appears to be a castle, and they look like they doubled back the way that they came.
And no indication of where they might be now?
Well, it looks like the tracks lead out of the city.
I'll let everybody else know that. Do we want to follow them? Do we want to investigate the city?
I mean, if there's this much dust, I don't know that there's anything here in this city of worth. We were looking for allies to help us. I think we should follow the living.
Yeah, I think the footprints make more sense right now.
Okay. So you continue to follow the footprints. It's not long before you exit a mountain, and you can see below, and quick figuring, you figure to the south, quite a distance away, you can see the tail end of the convoy of horses and wagons, and Lignyck can see a couple of figures in dark armor riding off in that direction.
Well, I think we found our friends. That would be the people of Nordgard.
Did I see a name anywhere in the city, Ryan? Or should I just
no.
keep this as notes as Yaerene's eyes in my notes?
You can see like faded runes on the outside of the gate, but they're no longer decipherable.
Great, city's got a new name. Yaerene's eyes it is.
Perfect.
So just so I understand, you think we're in Nordgard now?
Well, no, Nordgard is that direction. This is the mountain that Gorold said his friends were going to look at. And assuming Lignyck pointed him out, that's probably the two who came to look.
And Lignyck, when she points to the direction of Nordgard, your keen eyes pick up a great deal of movement on the horizon.
So, not to cause alarm, there's a whole bunch of people coming from that way.
That would be the undead army. Did the mountain look like it had enough room for a city of survivors?
Yes, definitely.
Would you like some hollering to happen?
How far away are they?
They're quite a distance away. Like they're well out of earshot.
We could tell Gorold we're at the mountain.
Are they, Ryan? Because I have a handy dandy little spell. It's called thaumaturgy.
They might be within earshot.
Yeah. I would like to shout their names.
Okie doke. They stop and look back at you.
And we wave, like, to come here. Come here.
And we try and look friendly.
I mean, some of us they might recognize.
I'll shout again. We're allies.
Yeah, they can see you waving. But they turn their horses back towards the caravan and continue on their way.
Rhodes, I guess we'll send a setting to Gorold and be like, hey, we're at the mountain. You should move the people in here. Does everyone agree that's a good idea? We just get the people in here and
Did we
Yeah.
see anything dangerous in the city? It mostly looked undisturbed for a really long time, right?
Yeah, it appeared abandoned.
And Ryan, can you describe the passage to the city that the undead are going to have to pass through to get to the city?
Yeah, there's it's not very long, maybe 50 feet, and it's wide enough to drive a cart through easily with room on each side to spare. So you could probably get 4 or 5 people abreast in the hallway.
And how tall would it be?
It's not super tall, probably only about 10 feet.
Okay, so a large creature is going to have to like crouch or impede itself to get through the passageway. The medium creatures can get through fine though.
Well, you could get 5 medium creatures in, no problem. Even a large creature wouldn't have to stoop much, if at all, because I think ogres count as large creatures, and they're only like 8 feet tall, so
Okay.
they'd be able to get in.
Okay, but anything larger is gonna have to work.
Yeah. If it was huge, it would have to kind of bend down more, squeeze through the space, I guess.
Okay, once we get all the people in, we should see if we can figure out a way to close this passage off entirely, if at all possible. But if not, to narrow it more so that we can try to funnel the undead. Because then Faewyn, if possible, you can start teleporting people out of here. If we can hold them off long enough.
Will people with a high intelligence score just roll an intelligence check for me, please?
How high is high?
I don't know. Like, at least having a plus in it.
Thank goodness for roads.
Apparently. So while you guys are discussing strategies, Rhodes is looking at the long convoy and looking the other direction, and he's like, he says, "I hate to bring this up, but I don't know if we can get everyone here before the undead arrive."
Well, then we
Yeah,
need to buy them some
How far
time.
away are they, distance-wise, Ryan?
The end of the convoy is probably a couple of miles out, and the undead army is probably closer to 5 or 6.
Okay, we need to buy them some time somehow. We need to get moving while we're doing any more talking. We got to catch up to that convoy real fast.
Catch up to them, figure out what they want, what works, whether it's they keep going and we lure the army to the mountain, or they get to the mountain, we lure the army.
Yeah, but we'll talk and run, I guess. So
Yeah.
can we all kind of like dash there, Ryan?
So, and I can see Rhodes can do ascending, just like, hey, we're behind you, we're coming to catch up.
Could we also let them know how close the undead army is? And that we have potential sanctuary?
Well, the big part of the problem, yeah, never mind. Can add it to the message.
Okay, Rhodes
But I
sends.
mean, his to the Pat and whoever did go into the mountains. So
Yep. So you're sending to Gorold, right?
yeah.
Okay. He says, "We'll turn the convoy around and make haste. Hopefully, see you soon."
Okay, let's keep an eye on things and set things up so that, let's say, the tail end of the people are arriving and the undead are cutting it close, or are we going to go distract the undead?
The undead are still like the main undead horde is still some distance away as the first people start making their way up to the mountain entrance and start to enter the city, and they're very grateful. But yeah, you guys see that Gorold and his crew have a few other soldiers with them from Nordgard. It's not what you would call an army, but it's what they've got left. And yeah, they approach you guys at the mountain entrance.
How many people do you have capable of fighting left?
Oh yes,
Well-
Grun, Gorald, Grun.
Pleasure, I'm sure. And he looks at all of you and says, "I've got 3 dozen that are good, solid fighters. We've got some children and feeble who won't be much good. I'll send them deeper in. Other people, if we can scrounge up weapons for them, they'll at least be able to make a last stand against the undead."
Faewyn, I don't suppose that teleportation that got us here could send some people back, hey?
It could if we'd like to use that.
We could get some of the children and feeble to Empire of the Sun.
Yep.
That could be an option so that they're not here if things go south. Because
I'll go start that. Please keep sending them my way. She'll go to the spot where the circle was.
Grun asked, "Did you have any spellcasters with you in your convoy?"
I mean, Kurt here's got a few spells, nothing super useful. And Kurt, who appears to be a paladin, looks a little bit hurt from Gorald's bluntness. And then Gorald turns to a very familiar bard for Group 1. And you see Helena holding an equally familiar Longstrider lute. He says, "Yeah, she's got more in terms of arcane spell power."
I'm just wondering if there was somebody else who could operate the teleportation circle. Was kind of what I was wondering.
Helena shakes her head and says, "Nope, I could turn Keitiara into, a rat or something.
Or you could give him his loot back.
I'm pretty sure this is my loot now."
I'll let you two to figure that out. No killing each other, though, because we're already shorthanded.
Yeah, if you'd like to be cooperative, great. Otherwise, get out of the way.
I'll cooperate.
I think that's the only time Yaereene has actually stood up for anyone.
Okay, so how much do you guys know about who's leading the undead?
Not much. We were in Nordgard when the challenge was dropped, and Damelin said he'd handle it and got the city to evacuate in the meantime while he was waiting for the Orcish leader to show up. So I don't really know much about any undead, other than that we've had zombies nipping at our heels as we've been trying to make our way south, but the convoy is slow. These aren't good war horses or good riding horses. These are draft horses pulling heavy wagons full of goods to try to keep us alive for the months and months that we're going to be traveling to the south.
Okay, so you have stuff, so if we have to slowly teleport people out, we can, but we're not going to just starve in here. Great. All right, well, here's what you need to know. And then Ysmyr is going to go into so they're being led by, as you know, flesh takers, but the flesh takers wearing a lich's bones. And I think she'll also, she'll explain what she can so they know what they're up against. And then also explain that we've been able to teleport. She's going to use teleportation as how we got around. Teleported to Kingdom of the Sun and defeated the Lich's minion down there by targeting him, and while the army was lured off. So that might be something we have to consider here.
And as you're talking about this, the convoy is continuing to enter the mountains, but you hear screams coming from further away. In the direction that the convoy is coming from.
Oh, time to go check.
You guys charge off in the direction of the screams, which grow louder and louder.
Sorry, just on the run, Lignyck, real quick. How long does it take you to infuse something? I just thought of something, but
I have to create my infusions at the start of the day.
Yeah.
And
That's what I thought. It was too late. Okay. Never mind. Sure, Red.
Yeah, no problem. And you guys arrive in time to see the counselor, Janelle Woodsworth, battling a ghost. It's the same ghost that you guys saw in the temple in the north, but she appears to be holding it at bay by herself. She appears injured. Hard to tell with the ghost.
Can I throw holy water at it?
The whole screen is just black for me. Is that the way it should be?
I've got to get some tokens down for you guys.
Okay, good. As long as I'm not accidentally screwing things up, that's perfect.
I just want to say, if this is going to be a fight or something, do we want to do that when we're missing most of the group?
I'm not intending on this being a particularly long or challenging fight.
Okay, just checking.
Yeah, for sure. All right, I think that's everybody.
Yep.
Okay, combat tracker's up.
I'm sorry, Grun's at the top? Okay, there you go, Tempus.
Feel better? Things are more normal?
I mean, it's still
Not my
it's
best
still
roll.
weird. Still very, very weird. But yes, the not being very first takes the edge off.
All right, what would Tempus do?
Where is
Attack with
everyone?
his eyes
I'm not
closed.
near you. Sorry, where is everyone? Because
You have a token. You should. You're down at the south end of the map.
yeah, should I be right by the ghost?
Pretty close. Yep.
Is anyone else there?
Everybody's there.
I can't see the other tokens.
That's weird.
I'll refresh and see.
I just moved to figure out which ones were mine as we were clumped there, Ryan, so I didn't move them substantially.
Okay. First question still stands. What would Tempest be doing?
Tempus would close his eyes and attack the ghost.
Okie doke. He does have blind sight, so that works.
He does. That's totally what he would do.
Now I see everyone.
That's good. He has 2 blood halberds here. I feel like one is like an off attack or something. So he'll rage.
And given I would have cast him in the last 2 days I can reset Krabby from being unconscious.
Yeah. Those both hit. That one does not. Tempest charges in, whacks the ghost a couple of times, and yeah, it's a ghost. You can't tell if it's hurt or not. Grun.
Does Grun know anything about the insubstantiability or whatever of ghosts?
Yeah, you probably would.
Sacred Flame that sucker.
Dex save DC 17.
Yep.
It fails and takes 19 radiant damage.
Nice.
Yeah, Grun's gonna move a little bit closer just so he's still a little bit more range of Tempest, but because it is a ghost, he is going to stay back so that he can keep hitting it with it. And that's my turn.
All right. What do you guys think KTR would do? Assuming he's still not here.
I don't know bard spells well enough.
Vicious Mockery?
That
Yeah.
sounds about right.
I'm just going to take a look.
Yeah, because it doesn't have metal for heat metal.
He likes his dissonant whispers too.
True.
Probably that one.
Let's just go with that one.
Wisdom save. Oh, it was almost a 19. It just rolled over to that 1.
Excellent.
Okay, on a failed save, he's taking 11 psychic damage, which he doesn't have any kind of resistance or immunity to. No. Is it moving away because of a fear effect from the spell? It doesn't say specifically. It's racked with terrible pain and must immediately use its reaction if available to move as far as its speed allows.
It's not fear. I think it's just supposed to move if it's hit.
Yeah, because it's immune to being frightened, but it doesn't say anything about frightened there, so it is going to run away.
Can Tempest get an attack of opportunity?
No, I believe you can only attack of opportunity if it's a voluntary movement away.
Yeah, it has to be voluntary.
Gotcha.
Or it depends on the table, because I've been to other tables where people make the attacks, so I don't know. Because it is technically moving, but it's not like it was grabbed and teleported, right? It's running.
Yeah, I will double check the rule here.
Yeah, it's point of discussion. I like that concept though. Yeah, what defines That way, if you're frightened and you have to run away, well, it's still moving away. But if you're teleported away, it makes sense that an attack of opportunity doesn't happen. Or if you're shoved suddenly and violently by like an elf blast.
Yeah, but if you're in this case, yes, it's not willing because it was a spell, but because they are moving themselves.
Yeah, it says specifically, it says you can make an opportunity attack when a hostile creature that you can see moves out of your reach. And so I don't know if it counts because it's not using its movement to do that. Because the word moves is like hyperlinked.
Well, and he's technically moving though. So my argument is, since it's floating, it's a ghost, but it's not being shoved, it's not teleporting, it's a movement.
No, here there's more specification here. It says you also don't provoke an opportunity attack when you teleport or when someone or something moves you without using your movement, action, or reaction. So it is using its reaction. So yes, you can get an attack of opportunity. All right. Good to know, Tempus. And he's got that sentinel feat, so when he hits, it can't move anymore, and it's dead.
Oh,
excellent.
Good job, Katira.
Yep, not even here, and he's the MVP. All right. So the Lord of Ghosts is dead, and you see Janelle slumps back in the seat of her wagon and thanks you for coming to her rescue.
Healing incoming. I'm going to use one of the charges from the ring to heal her some.
Okay.
Can I go snoop where the ghost died? Because that felt really easy for a ghost that was floating beside Glothor.
Sure thing. What are you looking for?
I don't know if a ghost can carry anything, but if anything fell, I want to inspect the people on the cart, the horses. We don't need a zombie rot infection, so I want to make sure there's none of that.
Okay. You can give me a perception check.
Do you say any of this out loud?
Or investigation.
She'll mention that she wants to check for this because if we're going to be stuck in a mountain, we really don't want that.
Can other people roll too then?
Sure.
Yeah, and I'd like to roll to see if we see any other enemies getting really close to the convoy.
All right. So you guys investigate the convoy here. You don't see anything untoward. You don't see anything that the ghost dropped. Janelle was injured by the ghost, but you don't see any signs of infection or anything. The horses look fine. Everything looks normal.
Okay, and Janelle was one of the leaders, right? I just need a reminder.
Yes, she was one of the 5 counselors of Nordgard.
Okay.
And I believe she is, well, her and Yaereene are the only surviving counselors.
Okay, then Ysmyr will approach her and just be like, long time no see. I'm glad you're doing all right, so to speak.
She looks at you, and it takes a moment for her to recognize you because your appearance has changed some since last time you were in Nordgard. And for her, it hasn't been that long since she last saw you. So she's rather taken aback.
I'm trying to think of what changed.
Well, I imagine that you've found some new gear and whatnot in your travels. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Now I forgot what I was going to say.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. I think Ysmyr was just going to approach, be like, long time no see. If everyone's like back of the caravan's okay, and we're kind of walking back, I guess she'll kind of, since that she's probably one of the still remaining leaders, same thing. She's doing the fill people in what's going on, like stuff.
Okay. Yeah, you.
She's being a queen.
Queen of the elves. Yeah, so you are making your way back, and on your way up the mountain, some of the convoy has turned back and is racing in your direction.
Okay. Can we tell why?
You guys have enough perception in the group. You can see further ahead up the mountain that undead have reached the entrance of the ancient dwarven city in large numbers.
So it's a race,
Erg, bad undead.
race to get in.
Race. Evad's
Hop
gonna
on a
cast,
wagon.
Evad's gonna cast flame arrows and prep that for combat before we get there.
Okay.
Lignyck is taking off at full speed.
I think we'll hurry to try and get there.
Okay.
So, Ryan, in retrospect, do we think this ghost was just a decoy to get us away from the entrance?
That would be a good guess.
That's painful. Thank you.
No problem. So you guys race back at full speed to find that the undead, there's zombies and skeletons all around the entrance, pushing to get in. You can hear lots of moans and groans from them, but you can also hear people yelling, and it sounds like they're fighting back.
Okay. Can Ysmyr cast a wall of light to try and push all the undead aside so everyone else can get in?
When you say everyone else, you mean your party, or because
Like the people.
yeah, there's a lot of the convoy still outside.
Yeah, she wants to try and give more of the convoy a chance to get in.
Okay.
I'll just share the spell. So
Sure. Okay. Yeah, it does a lot of radiant damage, and radiant damage stops zombies from being able to get up again when they take damage that would drop them to 0. So yeah, you can clear out the tunnel with a single wall of light spell.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so she's going to do that so convoy can get in there. I don't know what the party feels like, so right now she is doing that whole I'm holding it back. What are we doing?
I still get it. We need to try to get as many of these people inside as possible. Let's hold off these undead, get everyone in, and do whatever we can once as many people are inside as possible to collapse this tunnel as much as we can, so that we can funnel the undead and take them on slowly, hopefully.
So you guys head into the tunnel, and you can see that there were undead who made it through this opening tunnel and had pushed back the survivors. But without the crush of zombies immediately in the tunnel, Gorold and his crew and their soldiers have managed to hold their ground. But you can see that they're fighting a large orc that is definitely giving them some grief. But Ysmyr, you don't recognize this orc. It's not cool.
Okay, it's just a big guy.
Yeah, real big.
Okay, well, I think we got to deal with him.
Are we able to get a surprise round in on it? Because it's engaged with another combatant.
No. So 5 abreast, and there's that guy. And there's Gorold's group. Okay, initiative is up.
See, that's more like it.
Feeling at home there, Grun?
I'm back. This is like, this is natural place.
Yes, thanks for trading with me.
You are so welcome.
All right, so you guys watch as the 2 ranged fighters in Gorold's group fire off a crossbow and a bow at the orc, and both miss. And then it's Tempus's turn.
Well, you know he's going in there.
He's reckless attacking.
He wouldn't have to because he can flank, unless you think he would leave the flanking position open for someone else.
Probably not.
Okie doke. One of his attacks hits for 7 piercing. He also gets that butt of the weapon, but that misses. What's Skippy gonna do?
Sneak up and shank it.
Best option.
You
Dagger him.
You think he's gonna dagger it?
I think he's gonna sneak in there and dagger.
Dagger,
it.
disengage, and move back again.
Yeah. That or
Okay.
Might as well get that sneak attack while you can.
Oh boy, that's a hit.
Sneak attack.
Yep, 24 damage.
And should he disengage, guys, or bonus action attack? Probably disengage. He's squishy.
Yeah,
Oh,
he does-
he would not stick around. He'd disengage.
Disengage and move.
But the dagger of venom also does that poison damage.
No, it has to be activated
He has to
beforehand.
activate it,
Oh, yeah, sorry, I just saw that. Yeah.
and that takes an action. So
All right, what would Katiara do? Or is Katiara here? I saw him post a message in game chat earlier that said something about Ysmyr being the queen, but I'm not sure if that was him or. Oh, that was you. Okay, nicely done. What would Katiara do?
Which is the one that gives disadvantage? He would do that one.
is it wearing metal?
It has a great axe and plate armor.
Perfect. Heat metal. What level though? Let's do a 4th level heat metal.
Okay.
It might not let me roll that, so
All right. That hurts.
lovely.
Yeah, it really sucks because there's no resisting that.
Taking it off, baby.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna roll a d4 to see who this guy attacks. And has an AC of 17. Oh, and would have used a legendary action to attack as well after one of your attacks, but still misses with the fist. So 1 hit. And attacks back. That shouldn't have been an advantage, but it misses anyway. Both miss. That one should have been an advantage. Still misses. And misses. Lignyck, you're up.
So I'm commanding Krabby to do a move to there. I'm getting off, and I am going to attempt to shoot one Ataha with yield crossbow.
Okie doke.
Oh, geez, I'm so sorry.
That's okay. That is a miss.
And second attack?
Oh, and it's not using your intelligence modifier in the attack rolls.
Of course it's not. I imagine, considering I think I saw a 22 missed, I'm suspecting that the intelligence modifier won't make enough of a difference in either of these.
Yeah, probably not.
And I am commanding Krabby to... Oh, I am... can Krabby do a part move and then a part move?
Yep.
Who of the three looks to be the least armored?
Gorold and Anne are about the same. I mean, Anne looks the least armored because she's a barbarian and not wearing any armor. But they have the same AC.
And Krabby will move to there, and that will be the end of my turn.
And he has more metal heating up from their bard. And he misses. I assume Evad's going to take a couple of shots with his fiery arrows.
Yep, 2 shots.
Damn. Those both hit.
Then let me just double check with the fire damages. I think it's 1d6, but I gotta make sure. Yeah, 1d6. So let's roll this. So that's 8 fire damage total between the two.
Okay.
That's his turn.
Ysmyr, you're up.
Okay. So I recognize a name on this guy. I don't suppose I can do an insight, huh?
Well, you haven't heard his name said or anything.
Okay, that's fine. I was just like, I recognize that. So, Ysmyr is going to move to the side, and she is going to bonus action Hexblades curse him, and then I think we're just going to do some Eldritch blasts if they come through. My thing's being slow.
How many do you get? Because you rolled 3.
I get 3.
Oh man. Okay, 2 of those hit for 22 damage.
I actually, because of my thing, I get a +5 to damage.
For each one?
I think so.
Nice. All right. That hurt. Anything else?
No, I think that's it.
Yaereene.
She will take shot 1. And Ryan, you're evil.
Evil?
Just throwing it out there.
I prefer the term wicked. Thank you very much.
Diabolical.
Yeah, that's a hit for 14 damage.
Yep. Still standing.
Yep.
And not 2 damage. I only get the Colossus Slayer once per turn.
Right. So 10 damage there. Still
Yep.
standing.
She's not using a third shot right now.
Okay. Faewyn's turn.
That was not Faewyn I was grabbing.
Oh, wait. I missed a couple of unarmed strikes here. Gonna do those now.
Can you indicate who he's attacking, actually, please?
Sorry, he's attacking Anne with the first one and Kurt with the second one.
Okay, the first is going to be a disadvantage because Krabby's going to play run interference.
Curses. So an 18 or a 10. Well, he misses on both attacks. Okay, sorry. Faewyn, what were you doing?
Faewyn is going to cast Frostbite.
Okay,
Ooh, nice.
he passes that one.
Well, that's irksome, but good job.
So he still takes on a failed save. He takes that. Okay.
So he takes nothing because it's a cantrip.
Yeah. Okay, sounds good. Anything else?
No, I'd like to stay back here, please.
Okay. What would Rhodes do?
Trying to figure that out. How bad does this guy look?
Oh, he's hurting.
I think because there's so many people around, none of us are really banged up yet, right?
No.
No,
Let's just-
Evad's not actually at full.
Okay, we'll just toll the dead.
Okay.
Might have to roll it for me. I don't know.
There's a wisdom saving throw there. You got 18. What's the DC on that?
16.
So he takes no damage because that's a cantrip, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else?
Sorry, just checking because I don't know roads.
Yeah, no problem.
I guess he can cast spiritual weapon and have one ready there to smack, and have one show up to smack him.
Okay.
Let's assume between Tempus and Krabby, like in that corner.
Okay. That is a miss.
Okay, but it's there.
Yep. All right, Grun, you're up.
All right, Grun's going to charge him, and as he gets up beside Tempest, he's going to shout at him, "Look at what I thought about! You can attack twice!" And Grun is, for the first time in this entire campaign, going to attack twice.
You do get advantage because you're flanking too.
Okay, then we'll count that first one as those first two as the advantage on that, and then I'll roll the second.
Yeah.
How exciting. Congratulations.
And hello, Jesse.
Hey.
Good evening, guys.
Oh, that's a crit. For 27 damage.
Yeah, for 27 damage. Hammer of Thunderbolts. Oh, I have to use it as only as a ranged. Okay, never mind. Yeah, that's the turn.
Okay. Grun charges in and just lays into this huge orc, and it goes down. And as the orc crumples to the ground, you all note that it begins to shrink in size until it is only a wee baby orc left laying on the ground.
Grun is horrified by what he has just done. He doesn't understand what he's just done, but
So
he's
who wants to
horrified.
risk Revivify?
Somebody has to.
It's gonna have to be Rhodes. I can't yet. I still
Yeah.
The tiara can too.
Can you do augury to see if bringing him back to life will be a good thing?
Yeah. I do it real quick.
You got
I do an
seconds.
augury. Yeah. I do an augury, and is it a good idea to bring this child back to life?
How long does it take to cast augury?
1 minute.
Shit.
How long
Okay,
do you
don't
have
have
for
time.
Revivify?
1 minute.
Ooh.
So I think we got to make the choice without knowledge.
Save the child.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's risk it. Lignyck wouldn't know, or have reason to know, but I'm sure the group one has told Rhodes about the baby they found.
Yeah, Rhodes probably would have heard that tale along the way.
And
And Ysmyr being full of motherly hormones right now is like, fix it.
All right. Rhodes steps up, casts a quick Revivify, and the baby's eyes pop open, and it just starts to cry and scream.
Oh, okay. Well, guess who's running up to pick him up?
All of us.
Yeah. I know Ysmyr's going to run up and be like, oh, no.
Oh, Grun is all over it. Like, does it need any healing? Is it okay?
It's only got 1 hit point, but at the same time, it's a baby, so it's not like it has much more than 1 hit point.
Doesn't matter. Cure wounds. Grun smashed it with the hammer of thunderbolts. He's curing this baby.
To be fair, you smashed it when it wasn't a baby.
Yes, he is logically aware of that, but he's also smashed a baby. So yeah, he heals it up.
Okay. So this fight only lasted one round. So 6 seconds pass. Another 6 seconds to revivify the baby, and Gorold's like, his whole team is looking a little rough. He's like, "Thanks for coming back. Undead charged in here. We beat back one of them. He ran off. Big, ugly looking sucker ran behind us into the city. Can you take care of it? We'll hold off any more that come. Those the little zombies and skeletons ain't so bad, but I don't know if we've got it in us to handle that jerk."
How injured are they looking?
They're certainly beat up some. Like, I didn't modify their hit points here, but they're in pretty rough shape.
Yaereene will heal whoever looks the worst.
Okay.
She doesn't have a lot of spell slots, but she'll use one.
Yeah, you walk up and heal Gorold, and he thanks you but says, "Don't waste time on us. Go on."
Okay.
And I guess Ysmyr's got baby in arm and we're running in.
Yeah, because we're not leaving that baby alone.
All
Been
right.
through this before.
You guys charge ahead. Some of the soldiers who've been injured and pulled back saw where the figure went, and there's a small cavernous room off to the side. You head in and you can see a trail in the dust of where the figure went in here.
Well, we'll follow it.
And as you head in, you see an orc sitting back, slumped against a stone wall, bleeding from multiple wounds, wearing the bones of Glathor as armor, and he just looks up at you with obvious pain and weariness in his expression.
Insight to make sure it's actually cool.
Yeah, you don't really need insight. He is wearing.
Okay.
He's wearing the face of an elf over his own face, which is his trademark look. So you're pretty sure it's him.
Not how I expected to see you.
Medicine to see what, see kind of like how quickly is he dying? Is he recovering? What's going on with him?
Hey, give me a medicine check. Yeah, you don't think he's gonna die. Like the wounds certainly look bad, but he appears to, as Tempus would know, and you would know, survive through sheer orcish toughness, and did not die when perhaps he should have. But he is rough.
Then Grun whispers to Evad, hold ready, and Evad's gonna have like a full, like a 2 fire arrow attacks ready to go if he makes aggressive moves against the party.
Yaereene will also have her bow out.
As will Lignyck.
Okay.
This guy's gonna get pin-cushioned.
Ysmyr's just gonna look at him and be like, "So, did your friend leave you?"
I thought we would be victorious here with the power of the Lich.
And
What happened?
weren't. So what happened?
And as he's sitting there, gasping for breath, all of a sudden his eyes glow with an eerie green light, as do the bones that he wears. And you hear a whispering voice say, "I'm your last chance to save your gods.
How are you our chance to save gods?
Restore me, destroy this weak form, and I shall return at my full strength, and I will challenge the gods for a place among them. I can defeat Dowreth.
What about Shiro?
With Dowreth defeated, the gods will rally behind me, and Shiro will follow.
And what's the world going to be like with you running things?"
There will be peace."
This is Faewyn, by the way. Last I read, your version of peace was everything dead.
That is incorrect, as my pupil Venya would attest. I am very much in favor of the living continuing to exist.
Sorry, player remembered
Insight?
that wrong then.
No, you remember reading that. That's true.
Oh, good.
He is countering what you read.
Yes, I would also like to roll insight.
Sure.
Insight.
It never really matters with Faewyn whether I roll or not.
Yeah, that -2 kind of hampers any kind of insight checks. Grun, you get the sense that he's telling the truth.
Okay, I'll relay that to the party.
What happened way back then with the Canopy King and everything?
They attempted to invade my lands and kill my people. We simply defended ourselves.
Ysmyr's gonna grip the hilt of her sword and ask if that's true. Like she's asking her sword.
Yeah. The sword remains quiet.
She'll ask again.
The sword says that the undead had never come to these lands, and that refugees from Oos made their way here, befriended those who lived here, and the inhabitants of these lands sailed to Oos to try to free the lands from the undead for their newfound friends, the gnomes and the halflings.
Okay. Then she'll look to Glithor and just be like, why were there people fleeing your lands? Which led to the understanding that your lands needed freeing.
People fear what they do not understand. The gnomes and halflings feared my undead, feared that we would change them all. But what good is that? Undead die too. If all the undead were to perish, we'd have no living to replenish our numbers.
So you believe in a balance of living and dead?
Yes, the undead cannot exist without the living.
I mean, here's the thing. We know that leaving Dowreth and Shiro in power, really not a good thing. Hence why the gods kind of did what they did in the first place. So we really don't want Dowreth in any kind of power for sure. I can't speak to Shiro, but if they're anything like Dowreth, then if this truly is the only way to free the other gods, then unfortunately Grun's on board.
Can I ask the Stormlord? I know I'm not sleeping right now, but is there any way I can connect to get any information?
Let me look at... Yeah, because all of your communications with him are through a sleeping state, right?
Yep, so far. She might be asking somebody to knock her out quick.
Yeah, because there is an ability that you get later that allows you to communicate while awake. So I'm going to say no.
Yaerene's going to bring up the option of knocking her out.
We'll do it.
We'll leave that last resort. Ysmyr's gonna look at Glithor Cool again. Why are your undead attacking our people now?
We were recently brought back to these lands. I wouldn't be here at all if I had not been taken by the elves.
Heading south. Are you trying to get back?
Those who follow my pupil Lucius came north looking for me. They told me that there's a gateway back to Oos in the south. I was heading to join them.
And if we go along, what happens to the ones still here?
What do you mean by that?
Well, like there's the army of undead attacking the mountain, right? Like,
Yep.
what happens to them if we kill Glithor so that he can go back to Oos? Like, are we stuck with still an army of undead to deal with, or do they go away?
Ah. They follow my commands. If I tell them to leave, they will.
If they follow your commands and you're fine with the living staying living, why are you having them kill people?
I need a great host with me to rebuild my power.
Doesn't sound like you're fine with the living living. Sounds like you're willing to harvest them for your needs.
Can you not take over the ones who are already undead, the ones that Lucius created? Use that take
You're very, very muffled.
I'm having a hard time understanding what you're saying.
Oh, sorry. Is this better now?
World's better.
Okay, sorry. No, so I was asking, could you not take the undead that Lucius created, the ones who are now roaming around, and take them as your host? There's many in the Empire of the Sun that you could take over. No need to kill more.
Lucius could command them, since they are his army. Yes, we would all leave to Oos once more.
You guys, this really sounds like we're just making it somebody else's problem.
I'm very sorry to come in late here. I think I've kind of got an idea as to what's going on just by listening for the last few minutes. Question for Ryan. How much time has passed since we took down Lucius?
I think this is day 3 since then.
Okay, would you say that it's reasonable that Rhodes would have gone and made a bunch of holy water using the ceremony spell, seeing as we knew that we were going to be coming after Glothor?
Grun has 10 vials of holy water if you need any.
Yeah,
Okay.
Rhodes could have created some as well.
While people have been talking for the last little while, would you say that a minute has passed?
Yep.
Rhodes has cast the commune spell. I'll post to the chat, but basically, it is a 5th level divination ritual. As long as Tempus is still talking to Rhodes, using a vial of holy water, he contacts his deity or a divine proxy and asks up to 3 questions that can be answered with a yes or no. I receive a correct answer for each question.
Okay.
Question 1. Would Tempus have us spare Glothor for the fight against the Elder Gods?
Oh, and I have to answer yes or no?
I'll be right back.
It is a yes or no question, and it is a correct answer. So there isn't a lot of prevarication. I've posted the rules to the general chat.
In a case where a one-word answer would be misleading, interest, the GM might offer a short answer.
Okay, that's good to know.
Still has to be correct, though.
Yes. Dowreth stopped him before.
Curse you, that isn't even like... I specifically asked what Tempus wanted us to do. Don't you know your own mind, you big goofball battle god? Darn it. Okay. Second question. Are the Elder Gods closing in on you? Are we going to lose access to your power soon?
My followers in the north are safe.
Seriously, this is in the God's best interest here, and he is flubbing it.
It's not simple yes or no answers.
I beg to differ, but all right, that was really Rhodes's interest. Was is he about to lose spells, and what would he like us to do about the question of Glothor? So I guess the third question is white meat or dark meat. What do you prefer for on your turkey?
Dark meat.
Okay. Thanks for nothing. That was a 5th level spell slot.
Sorry.
So I just want to have things straight. So if Glothor gets back to Oos, the undead will follow his orders. So we can say, okay, deal as you get him out of here, like back to your country.
I don't think that's very cool. We've unleashed an undead horde then on another continent. That makes us
a continent
the villains.
that allows undead.
In all fairness, it would only be the 2nd continent that we've done that to.
Right, like, do we really need to add?
Or just let them be here. Or we have some sort of trade agreement with the bodies. I don't know.
Or we just destroy him.
I mean, killing him here just sets him free.
So we put him back on ice in a sarcophagus.
So I've seen enough undead who are on, or at least learned of enough of them who are on our side where they didn't just want everyone killed now. to be willing to consider this.
Agreed. We have met some who simply wish to live as we live in their undead state, to continue the same pursuits they had in life. How is
And
that any different?
he was willing to harvest all the people that we just protected to get his army. I would say that would be
Yeah.
one difference.
That's a problem.
And further to that, he's not just going back to Oos to hang out there. He's going to ascend to godhood. What do you think his domains are going to be? Cuddles and snugglies?
I mean, there's no god with those domains.
Right, so it's available.
Lignyck is actively pacing on Krabby in the back.
Ysmyr's gonna lean on the cave, just looking at Glethor, and kind of be like, "My ancestor put you in that sarcophagus. If I'm going to be one of the ones who sets you free, so to speak, I need to know my home, my people will be safe."
I will never set foot on this wretched continent again if I make it home to Oos.
And if you ascend to godhood, you're not going to influence things nastily here?
I imagine I will have greater deeds than dealing with this one small world when I am a god.
And to ascend to godhood, when you get home, what does that require?
With my powers restored, I will be able to draw on the power of my undead followers in a ritual with fellow liches that will help me ascend.
Can she insight, she's trying to figure out if it's just the undead, make sure, we wouldn't be sending him over to sacrifice, a bunch of, I guess, she's still biased towards the living people.
Fair. Yeah, that makes sense. He hasn't mentioned the living at all in what he's saying.
It's strictly undead.
Yeah, he's only spoken about using the powers of the undead.
And the liches we know of who would be in Oos are Venya and the two gnome ones?
There are 3 gnomish
Three.
liches in Glimmerview and Venya.
Okay, because we killed Lucius.
Yeah.
Can we assume Skippy might be arguing that Venya's pretty cool?
I mean, she did rescue him from Lucius, but she also killed him and turned him into an undead. So I imagine his feelings are a little mixed.
So, dumb question, are we just thinking of releasing him because we think he can save the gods? Or is there another reason we want to release somebody who's been killing thousands of people?
Because then he's not here.
Well, if we killed him, we could try and hunt down his phylactery and do the same thing we did to Lucius.
I think it's because we need somebody to save the gods.
We need we need someone to save the gods. The other thing is, if he is true in his whole, he needs living and undead, we could look at a deal of, if people don't want to become undead, they're allowed here. If people want to become undead, they can go there.
Does that mean all of the people who live there who want to stay alive have to leave?
Well, they were already leaving before.
Grun, knock me out.
I was gonna say, Rhodes is going to approach Yaereene and is gonna whisper, "Okay, my god, what wasn't good for much. You want to talk to yours, and if you want to be knocked out, let's take another swing at seeing what the deific influences want."
She holds out her temple to him.
I mean, he could also just do a sleeper hold, but
whatever. She's not fussy.
okay, Yaereene is knocked out.
Can this count as a short rest?
For Yaereene, for sure.
I guess.
So, she's going to dream the context to the Stormlord of all that is going down right now.
Uh-huh.
Does the Stormlord think that we should let Glethor go back to Oos? She is explicitly asking for guidance here.
Yep. And you do get answers that are less riddle-like now. You see a vision of water, ocean waves pounding against a rocky cliff. And on the cliff is inscribed the name Dowreth. And you also see Glithor's image in the waves, and get the sense that Glithor's power is nothing compared to that of Dowreth.
So, in essence, if we let him go, we would just be letting him go, and it wouldn't make a difference in the war between the gods.
Yeah.
Can the other gods be saved? Is my follow-up question.
Stormlord says it has done all it can to give the lesser gods a chance. It's ultimately up to Dowreth and Shiro at this point.
Thank you. Do you have any other guidance for me or that I can do to help support you?
The wind needs no foundation.
She'll just send back Joy. And then if
Okay.
somebody actually wakes her from being knocked out, then she'll share all of this with everybody else. Until then, she's having a bit of a snooze.
Yeah, you wake up shortly after the dream ends.
So the Stormlord doesn't think that Glithor has a chance. His power doesn't even have the potential of coming close to Dowreth. So we would just be releasing him onto another society.
Well, he could become a god. He just might not be as big a deal as he claims.
Well, I for one don't believe that his ascension to godhood would be a peaceful one in any realm of nature. Like you got 2 votes to not letting him walk out of here. Both Rhodes and Tempus are very dead set against his ascension to godhood.
Yep.
With this information, Grun is also against it.
Although I suppose it is a little bit silly to be talking about votes and democracy to the Queen now, isn't it?
I'm showing great restraint not having shot him already.
I'm still very on the fence, so I'm not going to be much help.
Yaerene's not at all on the fence. He just was killing the people we saved chasing in here.
No, I'm thinking more like if he does this, leaves here, the undead are not a problem for us. He might not be able to overthrow Dowreth on his, but he could be a thorn in the side.
Not really according to the Stormlord.
Was the Stormlord talking his power alone or with the other gods?
I gave the full context and asked what the Stormlord thought we should do. The Stormlord made it clear that there was no possibility of Glithor overthrowing Dowreth.
Well, in that case, I think we destroy Glithor, find his phylactery, and see if maybe we can find some other means to save the gods. Maybe there's some other... I know that there's some avatars of the gods still here. We can always see if we can find some of them and ask for their help.
So Michael has a clarifying question here. Are we having all these conversations like 20 feet away from him while he's laying on the ground?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Ysmyr's going to draw her sword and walk up to him. She's going to be like, "You're clearly going to get a head start, no matter what we do." And then she's going to look at everyone else and be like, "This is what we want, right?"
Yep. The gods will have to help wait and potentially sort themselves, but we can only do what we can for us.
Sorry to interrupt. We're in a cave, right? Everything around us is stone?
We're in an underground dwarven, city cave.
But the ground is made out of stone, yeah?
Yeah.
So I'm not totally clear here. If he ends here, he potentially can go back to Phylactery or goes back to whatever continent and becomes a problem for them. Is that the...
It's both. Phylactery is on the other continent. It was never found, so it's still on Oos.
So we could just put him in a box of holy water again, right?
I mean, we've got a bunch of holy water and 2 people who can make a bunch. That'd be worth it.
Faewyn and I came from a city that was overrun by undead. Didn't much feel like there was a choice there. So, yeah. And with that, Lignyck pulls out one of his books and starts sketching out essentially a metal containment case.
Well, sorry to preempt you there, Mike. Rhodes, upon seeing where the wind is blowing, is going to pull out a piece of clay from his component pouch is going to press his thumbs into the center of it, forming a rough box shape, and is going to smash it onto the ground. And stone shape. Unfortunately, it only forms like a 5 foot by 5 foot box, so he's going to have to crouch a bit. But he can make a rough stone coffin. And I mean, if Ryan rules it, I'll spend a second spell slot to make a nice lid for it. And we'll ask him, do you want to go in peacefully, or are we going to have to bend you into it?
Cool stands up and says, I'll die fighting.
Non-lethal damage, everybody.
Yep.
Just knock him unconscious.
Thing is, Ysmyr doesn't agree with any of you right now, so
Well, you're so far looking like you get to go first. Oh, no, Tempus goes a little first.
Danger sense.
Oh, damn, I didn't think we were rolling for initiative. Hang on.
Welcome back.
He shows up at the end of the session. Classic.
No, I've been awake for a while. I was listening to all the discussion.
Oh,
Now, since Evad was holding his action for him to make an aggressive move, does he get to just launch those 2 shots?
Arrows are hard to do non-lethally.
they can't do non-lethally, really.
yeah,
I found out the hard way.
That's very. Thank you. I wasn't thinking that. Yeah.
But if his action was held,
So it is Evod's turn first.
He is going to put away the bow and use his rapier to attempt. Well, actually, can he make it there? One second. He doesn't even have a melee weapon. Oh, he does have a rapier. Okay. So yeah, he will take it out and he will move to get closer. That's his check.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. Bonus action, Hunter's Mark, just in case.
Tempest, can you give me a saving throw? DC 18 Wisdom.
Probably not. Why do you ask?
Because Cool is using his legendary action to frighten you.
Malarkey.
And now it's your turn. And you are frightened.
So I can't get any closer to him. Attacks against him have disadvantage. He's within my halberd reach.
He's 15 feet away, isn't he?
Wow, I hate how this map draws lines. Okay. Well, shoot. Okay, then bonus action rage. For my action, I'm just going to punch myself in the face and take unarmed strike damage of 5. And no, excuse me, that would be unarmed strike damage of 8. And that's my turn.
All right, Ysmyr, you're up.
sorry, she is still very torn.
Yep, that's why he frightened Tempest and not you. That'll hit. And he dies.
Well, that's awkward.
Yep. Cool goes down in a heap. The bony armor of Glithor is broken, and you hear sighing voice say, "Thank you," before it fades, and combat's over.
And then you're just going to go punch a wall.
Well, I guess only time will tell.
What you've released.
But for now, we are safe.
Tempus is going to start in on Ysmyr saying, of all the irresponsible, careless, reckless, selfish things that you could have done. And then Rhodes is going to interrupt and say, hey, don't talk to her that way. And then they're going to take it outside and argue loudly for a while.
When you guys head out, you note that Glithor and what soldiers are left? Or not Glithor, sorry. Gorold and what soldiers are left are panting heavily. There's corpses littered all over the place, but the undead army has begun to move away out of the city.
Well, at least thus far, he's keeping his word.
So why exactly was that the decision? And he's looking at Ysmyr rather intently as he asks that.
Because there was no right decision. If we put him in the casket, it's just history waiting to repeat itself. If we do this, and
We're making somebody else's problem. So all those people are going to have the same fights we're having, but it's okay because it's not us.
If he goes over there and does his thing with the undead, it leaves the liches who are already there alone, who are already probably, using undead for what they were doing, but they've left us alone. It leaves them in charge.
The last time they went over there with their undead?
They were there before. That's where they came from.
My
That's their home.
When they were sent, last time they were sent over there, my city was destroyed.
By the crazy one, yes?
Lignyck rides out on Krabby. He just leaves.
Faewyn follows.
And once he's outside, he starts trying to help with healing people and building, and he buries himself in making work.
Grun will go out to start healing people, but when passing by, we'll pat Ysmyr and say, none of us could have made any kind of a good decision. Thank you for taking the burden of the decision.
You all made your decision. I just made a different one.
We'll head on out as well to start yelling.
Rhodes is going to come back after his.
I did hit the
argument.
button. Sorry, I did hit the button to Ysmyr's answer to Grun, right?
We
Well-
heard you say you just made a different decision.
Okay, good.
All right.
And then she's just gonna sit, like sink and sit, and she's just staring at like Cool's body.
KTR goes over to Ysmyr and just lays a hand on her quietly and tries to give her what support he can. She is his queen, and he realizes there were no good decisions, but something needed to be done. And what needed to be done, what she has done, he thinks is the best that could be done.
After his argument with Tempus concludes, Rhodes is going to come back into the cave and he's going to find Ysmyr slumped against the wall. He's going to give KTR a thump on the shoulder and just say thank you, and then he's going to princess carry Ysmyr out of the cave.
Oh, she's gonna put up a fight to that.
Well, you better make it a good one then, because he's determined to do it, and he's just going to say, look, baby, I don't know what's going to happen from this, but I know that the most important thing that I can do right now is look after you. So let's get out of here. I've got a nice spot in mind. Come with me. Let me take care of you.
She's just gonna wordlessly follow.
And I'm just quickly looking up the rules to plane shift.
What did you just say? Did you just say you plane shifted?
Oh shoot, I did not prepare the necessary components for a plane shift. Rhodes was planning to take you back to his mama's house, but yeah,
Oh,
I don't.
Wow, cool.
I do not have the necessary component for it.
What does it need?
A forked metal rod worth at least 250 gold pieces, attuned to a particular plane of existence.
Tuning fork.
Well, they did say at the castle that if we needed any components, they would offer them. I don't know, Ryan, if they would have had one of that, but I do know that nobody was thinking about Rhodes when that offer was made.
Yeah, if like Rhodes, the character, would have known that he was missing a component, he would have gotten anything that he needed for the spells that he has.
Okay, then Rhodes is taking Ysmyr back to his mama's house. And while the rest of the Elven City might still be there, I don't care. As long as his mother's house is there, he's going to set to spoiling and pampering Ysmyr.
Yeah, because he's originally from a town way up north that was overrun by the undead, right?
Correct, but I mean, it's his mama. She would have left provisions behind. If nothing else, I know there's a giant copper bathtub that Rhodes could fill up and heat up a nice hot bath, and otherwise just spoil Ysmyr.
Don't know how receptive she'll be right now. She's just a little numb.
That's understandable.
What chance is there that KTR would realize he's about to do that? Like,
What do you mean about? I'd say it's done.
well, okay. How much chance is
there?
there that he would try to follow or get in on the spell?
Well, it's you and up to 8 willing creatures who link hands, and Rhodes is not linking hands with Katiara. This is about Ysmyr, so he's doing his honest best to leave you behind. You've got 7th level spells. You got any way of trying to figure out what happened or to follow?
Okay, if Rhodes is deliberately trying to push KTR off his queen, yeah, no. I wouldn't be able to follow.
Rhodes is trying to look after number one. She made the biggest decision of our adventuring career together, so they are taking a little break from the rest of you for a bit.
No, totally fair. It's just like KTR is a bit obsessive with wanting to make sure his queen is well, and it's like, nah. He'd want to follow, look after her, and pamper her as well, but yeah, he does not have the ability to. Yeah, no, he's left behind.
Okay. So not quite the happy ending that people were hoping for the campaign, I'm sure. But
It also does not feel like an ending. I got
No.
things on my list.
I'm sure everybody has things on their list. But it was my intent that this would be the end of your dealings with Glothor and the undead armies. The undead are leaving for Oos. You guys have no easy way of getting there.
Not true.
I guess there is. Yeah, you do have the portal to the halfling area of Oos now. But anyway, the idea is that if people want to continue playing this campaign, I'm certainly open to working with you guys on ideas for what kinds of adventures you want to do. But my main ideas for the storyline have come to a close now. So if there is any kind of like alternative stuff that you guys are interested in, I'm happy to run more sessions in this world. But I'm planning on writing up a description of how things play out in terms of the storyline now that Glothor has been freed.
I mean, further to that, like, I think that this is a very natural place to bring it to a close. And while some players may be looking for other things, like nice little epilogues to their individual stories or even their stories as part of the group, would everybody like to go around in a circle here and sort of say what their characters' plans are for the future? And I mean, heck, maybe Ryan can even give like a little context as to what the near future looks like for your character. But does everybody want to sort of go around and give a little description as to what your character is going to be doing now with their life?
I'd
So
love to.
I'll give a little bit of context. The In the immediate future, the undead do head back to Oos through the portal in the tower. Glothor keeps his word and summons the remaining liches to Oos and ascends to godhood. At that point, his influence in the world disappears. His undead in Oos follow him religiously as their god, and so he begins to generate divine power through that following. So that's kind of in the very near future that's happening. But for the purposes of you guys, you don't have any more direct contact on your continent with the undead in any kind of hostile way.
Faewyn does go visit the halfling settlement there with anybody who wants to come to warn them. And she does that pretty much like the next day.
And Lignyck is with her.
Okay. Yeah. The halflings are not happy to hear that there's a bunch of liches next door again. They have had a tumultuous relationship. They have very powerful arcane casters amongst the halflings who have developed magical barriers to stop the undead from entering their lands because they did not want to be treated like cattle for the undead, basically replenishing their numbers. And so they're preparing for the worst.
It's good. She would love to learn how to make those barriers, but she's also going to go to all of the portals she knows of to share the news so that everybody else can prepare in case. It's just going to be her thing for a little while.
That's fair.
Grun is going to take any and all of the reward money, any funds, any anything he can scrounge together. He's going to use that money and whatever connections he has to gather up the survivors of Corthune and the nearby Orcish settlements, and also try to get word to the druids. And he's going to return. He's going to find a settlement place kind of equidistance between the three places and begin trying to rebuild a city of the three peoples to work together. And so that's kind of his big goal. And at the site of the new city he hopes to found, that's where he's going to bury Galen's ashes, so that his will and determination can help build a strong foundation for the city going forward.
Okay. So just a fun fact there. I don't know if it'll change anything for you, but Corthun is still standing strong.
I'm sorry, it was not completely overrun and destroyed like I thought.
Galen has no divine sight. He had a dream that the city was overrun and told you guys about it, and you all took it as fact.
Well, yeah, that changes quite a few things. So the city is still there. How about the people?
They're a little battle weary because they've been surviving through a siege as well. But so they're in roughly the same shape as the Empire of the Sun. They're going to be struggling for a little while, getting their resources back up. But otherwise, the city is okay.
All right, then yeah, slight alteration, everything, but at Corthune.
Okay.
So he'll try to call like the druids there. He'll try to call the orcs there and try to build a connection between them, even if they don't all come to the city and they want to reestablish, just to build much closer ties, build collaborative ties together, because we'll be stronger together.
Sounds good.
What is the status of the City of the Sun?
Oh yeah, you were sleeping through that. The undead were kind of aimless in the area. Now they've left since they were called by Glithor. So people are still facing rationing and starvation because, of course, all their fields with all their crops are gone. The sea creatures were mostly turned into undead in the region. So fishing, they have to go pretty far afield to get any fresh fish. And it's just kind of a mess.
Do I have any idea of where Ysmyr and Rose have gone?
He didn't tell you, so no.
All right. Basically, KTR leaves this area, and he would go back to the closest place he knows, which I believe is the Empire of the Sun, right?
Well, that final battle with Glithor happened closer to Nordgard, but there's no... Well, the people of Nordgard would return to Nordgard once the undead left.
Oh, all right. And I would definitely prefer to... KTR would go back to Nordgard, and he would just basically be telling... he would just be trying to tell a ballad of the ascension of Ysmyr and the trial and the question of how to deal with Glithor to the city. I mean, he'd be looking on this as the chance to create what he thinks is the greatest epic of all time and immortalize it in song.
And the people love this song of how Queen Ysmyr saved them all from the undead that were going to destroy them. They embrace the song wholeheartedly, and it becomes part of the Nordgard culture.
No way. Come on, Ysmyr. It's your song. Don't hate it.
Morin, she wasn't happy with her choice, but it's what she felt was right.
You're my queen, right or wrong. I support you.
All right, who's next?
Ysmyr's gonna focus on getting the north rebuilt. It was so far away from the Empire when things originally started that there was a disconnect. So she's gonna make sure the north is united and start start reaching out so that we're more connected to other places.
Okay. So, like, Aliston, where Rhodes took you, is barren. Like, nobody else lives there. But
Yeah,
you'd,
so we'll be
you'd
doing some traveling and reconnecting.
yeah, you'd be able to find the survivors, and the following of the god Tempus amongst those followers is strong. Um, they haven't built like a permanent city or town by the time you find them, and the elves are among them as well because their city was overrun. Um, the ley line that connected the elves to Nordgard was corrupted, so it is no longer usable by those who had been tapping into it before, unless they use necromantic magics. Where would you think about resettling these refugees from Aliston and Thessalora?
We could rebuild Nordgard, or there's Kalailin.
Yeah, Kaelin is very far to the north. So the people from Nordgard may not want to move that far, and it's so far away that it would be difficult for the centers to have contact, much like it was beforehand.
Okay, then probably focus on rebuilding Nordgard and working on getting like elves, the northern elves, orcs, humans working together rather than how disconnected they were.
Okay, that would be certainly a challenge for Ysmyr, because there's, well, the orcs and elves and humans of the far north were battling the same undead threat together. It doesn't take long for the old tensions to rise up again, but that might just be a challenge for Ysmyr to deal with, ruling her new kingdom.
She's got time.
Yep.
Rhodes is going to dedicate himself to Ysmyr's causes and to her care. When their child is finally born, he is determined to be there and to be the father that he's failed at being thus far for his other offspring. After a year of traveling and fighting to try and make the North a better place for all peoples, he would ask Ysmyr to marry him. Would she say yes?
Yes.
Then they'll be married. He is going to remain a cleric of Tempus as long as the powers of Tempus last, so that he can turn them to Ysmyr's service. And he is going to do his best to reunite with his mother so that he can formally introduce her to Ysmyr. He's also going to try and establish some sort of relationship with his other kids, even if the mothers of his kids hate his guts. He'd like to, lean on his newfound status as the consort to Queen Ysmyr, whomever Ysmyr is at this point. And, if nothing else, those kids are going to want for nothing and are going to get to go to the fanciest, schmanciest of schools, and is just generally going to dedicate his life to settling down, being less of a ruffian, and trying to lead other people to the worship of Tempus and supporting Ysmyr.
I never saw Rose as a ruffian.
Well, he sees himself as a ruffian, so at the end of the day, who are you doing it for if not for yourself?
More than fair.
So I can't necessarily speak for Faewyn, but Lignyck's plan would be heading back to Steamton, working on getting that city rebuilt, and dedicating himself to the divination magic that he's dipped his toe in, because he, with the 500-year lifespan they have, wants to be aware of if they come back in his lifetime.
And Faewyn will also be going to Steamton, but she'll be visiting all the places to warn as many as she can while devoting herself to learning time magic, so that, she can do anything she can to stop it once Lignyck knows about it.
I will also point out that Lignyck is now an auto gnome, so lifespan
It actually says in the Auto Gnomes official, like gnomes, Auto Gnomes can live for centuries, typically about up to 500 years.
Oh, okay. Good to know.
They're not immortal like Warforged.
Okay, interesting.
I mean, in theory, I suppose I could be, because I was a bit of both when I was made, but
And I think that leaves us with Tempus and Yaereene.
Do you want to go?
Tempus is going to adopt Edaha, and he is
Tempus and
going...
Yaereene are going to.
Yeah, that's true enough, because, if killing a lich isn't enough to get married, then we're never going to get there, so he's going to ask for that. Let me just roll a quick die 12. Yep, we're trying for 12 children, I think.
Oh, God! Okay, so they may have slightly different goals.
Fantastic.
A little excessive.
Yeah, so Tempus is going to marry Yaereene. They're going to adopt Edaha. They're going to start a family and a life, and he is going to dedicate what time he has left to following Yaereene and supporting her in her service to the Stormlord.
Which may include seeing if we can reshackle two little too big for their britches gods. Since somebody I'm married to is apparently invisible to them, which seems like that gives us a potential edge.
Yeah, so because of our previous discussions of Tempest having been resurrected and now being immune to deific magic, we are going to maybe see if there is something can be done about these elder gods, and if nothing else, what other allies we might find in the struggle against them as they continue to run roughshod over the cosmos.
And that won't be recklessly just, wasting our lives. She will be communing with the Stormlord, trying to figure out what is possible and what is not. And yeah.
Part of Grun's funds would go towards setting a base up in Porthune for you guys that was there anytime you needed, because he would also help you guys out wherever or whenever you needed the help, and he could spare at the time.
Would he be? I know everyone's probably mad at Ysmyr, so would he eventually be open to trying to keep North and South connected?
Oh, he's not mad at Ysmyr. He genuinely there was no good decision there. He genuinely felt sympathy for her for being the one who took the decision into their hands. So yeah, he would always be fine with the North and the South being connected, and he would be there for her if she needed just somebody to talk to, because they didn't have the long history, but they fought through, and they shared enough of what they went through. He would be there for her as a friend anytime.
Yeah, KTR would be supporting both his brother, kindest son, Tempus, and Yaereene, who he always felt was a daughter, in whatever they would do. First the queen, and then the two of them is who he would be dedicating his life to.
And
Although he would be dancing around a lot if they ever try to set him up with somebody, like they tried to set him up with Rhodes' mum.
Well, and to further expand on some messaging between Romy and I, Tempest wouldn't immediately seek out Ysmyr after that little break, because he's honestly a bit mad at how, after all the times you told him not to be reckless and take actions into his own hands, you just did the biggest taking actions into your own hands of history. So he wouldn't really seek you out right away, and I think that there'd be a little bit of a break, but the next time we cross paths, I think that he'd probably break down crying and say that he was sorry for how he treated you and seek amends between you. So, if we run into each other on our various travels, he'd want amends.
They'd probably get there.
I would just like to point out that you guys and Gorold's crew are on pretty equal footing for power levels, and are the most powerful heroes of the land in terms of character levels.
I was going to say, Ysmyr, being in the North, Ysmyr would want to try and work with them. So.
Yeah. But I just wanted to point out that if you guys wanted to take on leadership roles in the rebuilding, there's basically the people look up to you as highly regarded heroes of the realm, and there will be no resistance to you guys taking up positions of power.
KTR just wants his frickin' loot back of that was taken by Gorold and his crew.
Well, as you stole that loot, it has been stolen from you, and
I
Helena,
didn't steal that loot. That was
Helena,
given to me.
liar. Helena has no intention of giving it back.
Faewyn just wants access to everybody's libraries. And then to
Grun,
go to the time place so she can go visit that place, because that seemed like that was cool.
Grun makes her assistant librarian of the Corthune Library, because there has to be an actual one there for when you're not there. But it essentially gives you all the rights and privileges of the librarian. So when you're there, you have all access to books at all times. But you still have to abide by Corthune checkout policies.
Oh, she can follow rules about books. That's absolutely no problem. That's just good sense.
And
could
it
just-
goes for her, and like I said, Ysmyr's trying to make sure like history's not forgotten, like people are staying connected, things are still known. She's got the years to do it. So if Lignyck and Faewyn are ever okay, it's like going to be like, Faewyn, you can come use the old elf libraries and stuff. And
Like Lignyck, it will
yeah.
take her a bit to get over it, but they live a long time, and yeah,
Yeah, she lives a long time too, so.
exactly.
And maybe Faewyn will set up a teleportation circle in Nordgard.
She might someday. There will be one in Steamton for sure.
I think that's pretty apropos.
Yeah, and when Grun finds the one in Corthune, he'll make sure it's well maintained and well protected.
Oh, that's good because she knows how to get there.
Yeah,
All right.
I remember that. Yeah, so knowing that, he'll make sure it's made.
I think this builds the requirement for a network of teleportation circles.
Definitely.
Actually, I think there's a possibility that there's KTR is always going to be scheming to get back his loot, and he's looking for assistance. And there's a lot of stupid hijinks with him trying to get his, and always was his. He never stole it. Loot back.
I mean, if you're determined that that is how you want to spend the narrative power for this epilogue, Tempus would help you, like, mug her in an alleyway some night or something so that you could have your loot back. But, like, is that really how you want KTR to spend his retirement, is fighting and feuding with the anti-hero adventurers?
KTR, I think, in some ways, despite his devotion and like concern with his friends, is really, really like that loot saved him, in his opinion, and got him out. And honestly, I don't know why you say that I stole it. That was my magic item right from the beginning, Ryan.
Yeah, I know. I thought I remembered you saying at some point that it was that you stole it and ran.
No. I used it to get the hell out of there after I killed the son.
Yeah, and just because he plundered it off of the body of the man he killed,
No,
does not make it stolen.
no. I didn't plunder it. That was my one possession that my biological supposed father gave me. But yeah, no. Like I support Yaereene and Tempus. Ysmyr is my queen, and I spread the tale of her agony over her decision.
Yeah, see,
And
that's the problem right there.
no, I don't think that's a problem. I think that people need to realize how we ended up surviving, and difficult decisions need to be made. Like, but anyways, that's my story. A little petty, but KTR was always a little bit self-indulgent.
I just imagine the like smash cut to like KTR with the bulletin board with like the red strings between like all of different pictures and this great big plan as to how he's going to get his loot back, and then like smash cut to him waking up in bed next to the thieving bard, and he's just like ever so gently trying to shimmy the loot out of her arms or something.
Who seduced who?
I have spent so much time trying to avoid that meme.
All right. Well, thank you guys for a great almost 4 years of this campaign. And like I said, if we want to have any more adventures, I'm certainly open to that. The next quote unquote project is the Star Wars one off, and we'll see how that goes. But yeah, if you guys have ideas for further adventures with these characters, or even new characters in the world that comes after, I'm happy to think about those types of things and see where it goes.
Thank
Everybody,
you so much, all of you.
thank you all.
Yes, thanks
Thank you.
everybody. This has been so much fun.
And honestly, you guys saved my sanity during COVID. I've made friends and I've had a fabulous time. Just thank you for everything. And Ryan, thank you for running this whole world.
It's my pleasure.
You had to do this the same time I retired, didn't you, you son of a bitch?
Sounds like you've got plans for your place anyway.
Well,
It's been a hell of a road. And I made a hell of a lot of friends on the way. I still want to get out there to Saskatchewan within the next year.